this and save it to YouTube when we're done. That way you guys can watch this if you need to.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So I'm going to start from like the very beginning where you go in order to log into the website, as you would just go to squarespace.com. And this is for everyone. So anyone who wants to log into the back end of the website is going to go to squarespace.com. And right here, it would say login. Each person will have their own individual username and password. I personally just log in with my email, like use Google and log in with Google. And then you'll hit account dashboard. Yours will only have the websites that you are contributors to. In this case, it would just be the Tandem website, unless you have others. I have 100 billion, so ignore those. But this would just show up on yours. So you just hit it essentially, and you're there. So now you're in the back end of the site. So Squarespace, login, and then you hit it on your dashboard. This is also where you would go to manage your domain. So on the left here, this is your menu bar. And we kind of went through these things when I was showing you all the website, what each of them does and all of their intricacies. As far as editing goes, the only one you really need to be concerned with are the Pages tab and the Design tab, maybe Settings, but probably not. So the Pages tab, that's kind of self-explanatory. This is where all of your pages live, right? So let me pull that Google Doc up that you just sent over. Okay. All right, awesome. So top navigation. All right, so essentially, if you are editing the page, you're going to hit this edit. You're going to choose which page here on the left. You're going to hit this edit button, and everything becomes editable. It's just like, it's a front end editing platform. So you're not going to edit anything that looks different than what you're seeing on the front end. So, if you want to change the text, you just simply click on it and start typing or whatever. Same with images. If you want to swap anything that's already existing, you're just going to hit the image, a pencil's going to come up, and this is where this will pop up, and you can, edit away. You can add a link if you want to replace the image, delete the image, edit. If you want to swap the layout, you have these options. If you want the image to be on the right or on the left. It's kind of it lives in its own little box. So each page has sections. This is one section, two section, and you can see, where that differentiates. And if you want to add a section, it's as simple as adding a section. They give you these like templates to choose from, or you can add a blank. I typically work with adding a blank. To edit the physical section, like the background layer, you're going to choose this pencil, and you can choose to have an image, a video, or artwork. Artwork is like, this is new for Squarespace. It kind of populates some things in here. I have not used this at all, but you can do an image as a background, which we have some of those already. Or you can choose a color over here. So this is what the majority of your site is. And then as far as formatting goes, this is just, how large is the section, and you can make, you can customize this as well. And then content width, this is going to talk about, so I'm just going to put an image here. This is talking about the margins on left and right side. So small, medium, large. And then this is orientation within the section. So that's formatting a section, and then adding to a section. I'll delete this. Every section automatically comes with a text box. And the discard changes real quick because it gets confused when I do too much too quickly. So every section will automatically come with a text box. You can't delete this text box until you've added more. So In order to add more, you're just going to hit this plus sign, and you have a plethora of options here. And if you can't find something, then you can just type it in. You know, if I'm like, okay, I want a video, then I just, you know, type it in and then hit it and plop. If I want text to the left or right, I'm just going to add a text box, and it's a matter of just dragging it over. And then you can kind of play with column sizes and things like that. And then from here, you can really build, you know, if I want something to go underneath this text, I'm going to hit that plus sign underneath the text. If I want something to go the whole way across, you know, there's, let me delete this text box. There's going to be a long line that shows up, or you have the short lines, which is, you know, just underneath the video, just underneath the text, or something that's going to fill the entire space across. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome, cool. So once you've done, you know, you've edited something, you have to come up here. It's just like any other, like, you know, word processing software of any kind. You have to hit save or discard. If you aren't feeling super confident about your editing, if you've added something or whatever, I would get in the habit of hitting save even before you're finishing a section. Because if you accidentally delete something or do something that you didn't mean to do, you can hit discard changes and it will, you know, bring back whatever. If you've accidentally deleted a section and hit save, and hit save, then it is gone. You have to rebuild it. So getting in the habit of hitting save or discard, you know, just like all things, is helpful. Yeah, so when I hit discard changes, that entire section just goes away. So that's kind of the basics as far as editing goes. You just pretty much always hit edit and then choose the page. Yeah, choose the page that you want to be on, hit edit, and then you can just kind of go from there. Drag and drop, edit what you see, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it seems very straightforward and responsive, which is good.
Yeah, it's pretty intuitive too. I will say, like, Squarespace has a plethora of forums also. For example, I had a client yesterday who was like, hey, how do I add my G Suite to my domain? Like, how do I do that? And I had a basketball tournament yesterday, as you know. So I was sitting there on my phone and I just Googled real quick how to, because I know how to do it, but in order for him to do it, I'm like, let me just send him, you know, I know that there's a forum that breaks down every single step. So I just Googled like how to add G Suite to Squarespace DNS. And there it was. There was a Squarespace article that I just sent over to him and he was able to figure it out.
That's great.
So pretty much with anything, if you're like, I need to, you know, figure out how to make, you know, a floating button, if you Google it, you can pretty much, you know, figure it out. There's tons of information out there.
Yeah, I just had a panic attack yesterday when I was changing some of the copy. I made case studies. It used to say our clients and I made it say case studies.
Yeah.
And then the button on the homepage still said our clients.
Yeah.
It like wasn't working and I was like freaking out, but it was literally so easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. I'm glad you figured it out. I was going to say there's one more step to editing pages, and that's hitting this little gear, which is probably what you figured out, Erin. So you literally hit the gear, and this is where you can kind of edit the actual page settings. So you have page title, and then you have navigation title. This is what shows up in the menu bar. And then this is your slug, right? So tandemassociates.com/home. This is enabling or disabling the page. Go ahead. Did you say something, Jackie?
Nope.
Oh, okay. If you build a page that you want, you know, your team to review before it goes live, you can make it disabled and add a password to it so that your team could, you know, have a look at it before you went live with it. And then you have these, you know, these options over here too. So you have your SEO function, your social images, if you want for it to be different than the one that's, you know, the site standard. Then you have some advanced settings. You will likely not need this unless you're doing something, you know, special with code.
Sure.
So each of these has those, and some of them look a little different. The home page's SEO is a little different than other pages SEO. But I'm going to use case studies as an example. if you change the name, like here on general, you also need to change the SEO name over here, because this is what shows up in a like a Google search, right? So it's kind of like an extra step that you didn't know you needed to do until you've Googled it and figured it out. So I'll delete that and hit save.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. But that kind of covers the general page editing. I do want to click over here and look at design and settings before we move over to these particular website edits. But over here on design, this is essentially where you would edit like high level things like the shade of orange or the font, right? So when I hit site styles, this little pop-up is going to come up. You have fonts, colors, animations is, you know, if you want, as I scroll, for things to fade in and out, that kind of thing. General spacing, so margins and things like that. This is, again, for the entire site. It's not for a particular page. And then buttons and image blocks. Buttons, Squarespace has just released now where they have 3 button options: primary, secondary, and tertiary, however you say that. And so this is new for me. They just released this, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. So when you add a button or edit a button, it's going to let you choose your primary, secondary, or tertiary button. So this is where you would edit the way that that looks.
Okay.
And it's, you know, pretty, I mean, you can figure this out, right? Like here's how you would edit the way that the text looks on it, the shape, you have options, or you can do a custom, and then, you know, how thick you want that outline to be, so on and so forth. Let's go back here. So colors, you get a palette. So you can kind of choose a variety of colors and variations. If at any point you're like, oh, I like this background, but I actually don't want, or this one's a good example. I like the red, but I don't want red and white text or red and orange text. I want red and black. So you would hit the pencil, and then you can choose what color every single thing is on here. And you can choose from your palette. So if I want to change them all to black, I can just hit palette, or I can choose a custom color. You know, I want all of my headings on orange background or red background to be, you know, blue, or whatever it is that you want. And then if you want to edit the entire palette, you just hit edit palette, and you can, you know, swap in and out whatever. If you change your shade of gray, you can just, you know, swap in the hex code here. Let's see, I think that pretty much covers that one. Let me see if there's anything else over here. Browser icon, this is also called a favicon. This is this logo right here. If you want to swap that at any point, it has to be 250 pixels, no more. But that's where you would, you know, change that out. Lock screen, checkout, 404, access denied, social sharing. These are if you want to edit the way that those pages look. If for some reason somebody gets, you know, if they come to your page and it's down or whatever, and you want it to be a branded page, this is where you can come and edit that stuff. Your checkout page, you guys aren't selling anything on yours, so it's not necessary. Even the lock screen's not necessary. Access denied is not necessary because you don't have any password, you know, user membership style stuff. But this custom CSS is where you would enter in any custom code. So I do have some, you know, some coding in here. This is specific to the mobile version. We were having some trouble with like words falling off and stuff. So I threw some code in here to make sure that all of the words stay together. And so this is where you would add any custom code that's for the entire site.
Awesome.
Let's see. And then settings. So settings, this is where you know, if you add social links in the future, this is where I took off your Facebook page, for example. So we had your Facebook link here, and I just, you know, you just hit this little thing and choose to change it out or remove it or whatever, and it just removes it from your entire site. So that's where social links live. Really important is the permissions piece. This is where you would add or, you know, take away people who have access to editing the website. And I need to transfer this over probably to Mark, I guess, the ownership.
Yeah.
Why don't I just do that while we're sitting here? That makes life easy. Great. So yeah, to add a contributor, you're just going to hit invite contributor. Pretty simple. You're going to type their name in and then their email address. And you can choose which of these they have access to. If you want for them to have access to everything, you just make them an admin. If it's somebody who's like, no, we don't want them to accidentally to delete something, then, you know, just put them on billing or just give them, you know, whatever it is that they actually need access to. Or you want somebody who's just a website editor who doesn't necessarily need access to the billing side or, you know, whatever. This is where you can add or delete people. And it's pretty simple to take somebody away. I mean, I'll just use Erin as an example. I won't take you off, but if you click their name and then you have the ellipse over here, you can just remove them entirely or just remove their permissions. This is also where you can edit their permissions. So if you want to, you know, switch her from admin to, you know, store manager, this is where you could do that. Basic author, adding a basic author is when you want to add somebody who is simply adding to the blog.
Okay.
That's that, but they can also do that as a contributor. So either way there. This is where you would also edit this important stuff. So your domain information, all of that lives here. So when you want to manage your domain, you just go settings, domains, and then there it is. If you need to see your specific DNS records, that's all here. You can unlock and lock it here. You can see that it's on auto renew. You know, all of that information is right here. You have 15 days to resend verification email. Okay, good deal. I'll make sure that gets done. Okay, and Google Workspace, you guys aren't using that. So you don't need to worry about that piece. Billing, this is, you know, where if you guys need to swap out the credit card that's associated with the account, this is where you would do that. If you want to do cookies and that kind of thing, this is where all of those details would be placed. There's one more thing that I was thinking of, but I don't, here it is. Yeah. Okay. So here in marketing, you have the promotional pop-up and the announcement bar options. These might be helpful in the future if, you know, I know some people who, the pop-up is great if you are collecting emails for an e-newsletter or something like that, right? But the announcement bar is, I'll just turn it on so you can see what it looks like. It's right here. And you can edit the way that it looks if you want it to be, you know, black across the top or orange across the top and then have text. But this is great if you're like, we're closed due to weather, or, you know, we're at the farmer's market this weekend or the farm show, or, you know, wherever, you know, you can have the announcement bar along the top of your website, just so that folks can see it when you're there. And that's as simple as, you know, turning it off and on, essentially. Other marketing stuff that's over here, not super important. Email campaigns. This is when, if you decide to use Squarespace specific email campaigns, so you can kind of ignore these options. This is where you would edit your general site SEO, but that gear next to the page is where you would edit the specific page SEO. These are all for ad building. So I think that's the general overhaul of editing the website. Do you guys have any questions yet?
No, that was good. Like I said, straightforward, and I
Yeah.
feel like everything that we were going to ask you about, you kind of touched on,
Mm,
which is great.
awesome. Yay. I love when that happens.
Yeah.
Cool. So then let's go over here, do these. You guys
So much easier.
do what?
Oh no, you're good.
Okay. So I'm just gonna go through each of these and get these done. You guys can kind of watch and see how that works.
Sure.
Okay, so add an about us button in top nav previously discussed. Okay, so we have, this is super easy. This is literally just dragging it up.
Love it.
Where would you like for it to go?
Probably the first one, just for chronology sake, since it's the
Yeah.
first. Yeah. Also, I apologize. That was an edit that we said no to, and we're bringing it back. And there's another one like that. It's just kind of annoying. So I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no, it's
Maybe
all
that's fine.
good. All good. I like to highlight these in green when I'm done so that I know that they're done.
Sure.
Okay, so who we are changed to our team. Okay, yep. So who we are.
Can we check the notes? I just don't want you to change it because the notes that he sent over yesterday changed some even more copies. So hold on one sec while I open it, just because I don't want you to have to change it twice again.
Okay, great.
Okay, yeah, it is still our team.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
I'm gonna edit this footer also. So this is now case, or yeah, it's case studies, not our clients.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
so to edit the link, you know what the link paperclip
Yeah.
looks like. If you hit it, you can just change to case studies and then backslash case studies, apply. And then this is, oops. To edit the link, you're going to hit the gear and you have all of these options. So you can, attach it to an email, an external link, or a web address, a file, if you have a PDF or something you want for somebody to download. And then this is an internal page that will always be, you don't have to come to this to add an external page. You can just do the backslash and start writing the pages. And then this is also where you could have it open in a new window or have it open in the same window. Hit save there. Okay. Highlight. Okay, so icon on top nav bar and browser. Let's make the icon tandem colors. So we're talking about the favicon?
The Fabricon, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So that is right here. So we're gonna hit edit. Please select from library. I wonder if I have it in color. I guess I could just chop it off there, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say you probably don't have just the bug alone. You probably have the whole thing.
Let's see. Okay. Do I even have it still on my, which computer is it on is the real question. Tandem logo. No, that's okay, because I know it's in an email.
Wow. A million folders.
Yeah. Like, how many different things do I need to back up? And the annoying part is that everybody shares their Google Drive folder and they name it website. And I'm like, which
my
website?
God.
I don't know. So I'm gonna look and see which, who shared it with me.
Oh, that's awful.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Oh,
Let me see if I can find one and send it over to you quickly.
okay. I was gonna say, I'm sure there's a way that I can re-download it from the website, but I like to make sure it's the best DPI version that I have.
Honestly, I probably have it on my desktop. Give me one second.
That would be amazing.
Do you want it in a ping? How would that be?
Yeah,
the best?
however, either which way. Here it is.
You got it?
Yep, I got it.
Oh, I also just sent it to you, but yeah, that's perfect.
Awesome, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, this one has to be 250 pixels. I'm just gonna open this in preview and edit it real quick. We'll chop that guy out. Crop tools. 250. Let's name this. Okay. Sweet. Here we go.
Oh my God, I'm just looking at these notes. It's back to our clients instead of case studies. Don't worry about
We
Don't
can-
worry about it. I'll do it. I'll
We
do
can
it.
change that.
But of
I
course.
love it. I love it.
Oh,
I feel you. It cracks me up sometimes that you know, I had one particular client that was like, can you make that text teal? Sure, and make it teal. Actually, can you put it back to gold? And I'm like, bah! That's
my
great.
God.
Okay, let's refresh and see if that went. It might take a second to like fully, yeah, there it goes. Okay. So that one's good. Okay. Add Facebook icon. So we want Facebook on.
Yep,
Okay.
we found the password.
Great. Yay, that's exciting.
Yep.
Yeah, we got into it yesterday.
Yay.
I guess you probably don't have the link for that.
I do now.
Oh, there it is. Perfect.
So that is going to be settings, social links, add, paste. Done.
Nice.
Go back here. All right. Client scrolling logos isn't working correctly.
So this is within the About Us tab.
Let's go check it out.
Yeah, so there's that double scroll at the bottom with the larger logos and then the smaller logos. I think we want to just keep it to the smaller ones as opposed to the larger ones. Is that correct, Erin?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so this one is a tricky. Okay, so here's the fun part of or really, I'm being sarcastic, the annoying part of editing in Squarespace. So when you do a gallery, you're limited to the options that they give you.
Sure.
So here's all the media. Here's the design. Here are the design options that we have. So we have the carousel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on. Whatever. We have 10 minutes. And if we crash on each other, I'll just send another Zoom
Okay.
invite. So the carousel's ginormous.
Right.
And I hate it
Right.
personally.
Yeah.
But I wonder if we can make it smaller within.
Was the grid option kind of like a stacked on top of each other option?
It is.
Is it?
Yeah. So the grid is. Yeah. And see the aspect ratio, like it wants to auto.
Right.
Stacked is just going to give us one at a time.
Right. Okay.
So first, let's see what happens if I take, this is what we want.
I think that's good for now. And if we can go back in and mess with it, Erin.
Yeah. Can I just look at it on mobile real quick? Because part of the
can
reason we were changing it.
No.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't mind. The sizing is much better in this way for sure.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
if we
I
like
think
this,
that's
then I'll
great.
leave this. We can also take, so if you come in here, I made it medium width. You can also make it larger if you want.
Mhm.
And then in the gallery settings, I think we can take these arrows off too, if you want the arrows to be, yeah.
I
So you
think
can take the arrows
we
off.
want to keep those.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, okay.
We don't need that. They aren't linked, but the thumbnails is what I took off.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
that's gone. And you can make this the transition between slides slower or faster, you know, if there's feedback around that.
Cool.
Okay. Sweet. Can we get rid of the arrow? Oh, do the bottom part. Keep the highlight fades.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good how it is.
That's
Okay.
yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Great. Check.
The next one was kind of an internal discussion between Erin and I, and now that we know how to change copy, we can figure that out ourselves.
Okay. Okay.
But the edit beneath it with the headshots, I feel like I just didn't do a good job explaining to you what we wanted.
Yeah.
No, you totally did. I think maybe you forgot about a conversation we had. I had laid these each out as individual. So the way that it's currently in here, it's plopped in as a like a designed image that I made elsewhere and threw in this one image, right?
Yeah.
When I inserted every person's individual image, because of the text on the left, the margins got funny because the way that they want to line up, I could only do 3 people next to each other, that they would all be the same size. And that required a whole nother stack. So there's a lot of white space over by the text. And so it just looked really silly.
Sure.
An option, another option that we could have is if we wanted to do the text the whole way across the top and then have the individual images down below and have the, 2 rows of people kind of similar to this. That's certainly an option if we want for each person to have, their individual picture linked to their exact page. Currently, this just clicks over to the about page, the general about page.
Right. So I think we wanted to link, like if you click on Mark, you'll go to Mark's internal. If you click on whatever, you'll go to whoever's internal, if that's possible, the way that the image is set up. That's what
the
we
way
would.
that the image is currently, we can't do it that way.
Okay.
I'm happy to lay them back out so that, each image is in here by itself. I'll just show you.
I think that even more so, if it has to go to a general landing page and not individual, I think that's fine because that's how it is now. But right now, that landing page is not the same as the current Our Team page. It looks like, I don't know, it's a little bit different design wise. There's a date under everyone's headshot. The headshots are getting cut off.
Okay.
So if it could just be the same exact landing page as the current Our Team one, I think that would be even enough.
Okay, let's make that swap quickly. Okay, and then let me show you what I'm working with if we do each individual image. How many do we have? 9. Okay, so each individual, let's do 4 and 5. So here you can start to see the fun, like, wacko-ness of this orienting. Okay, so if we do, I think we were doing, I was trying to do 3 to a column the first time. 1, 2, 3. Let's try 4 and see what happens. Okay, and then let's make this. Oh, gosh. Let's go find Mark. This one. Okay, and then we'll do. All right, so.
Sorry, I just lost you guys for a sec.
You're good.
You're fine, didn't even notice. Okay, so this is what it will look like generally. If we have each person in here. You know, everybody would be the same size as Mark. It's not going to be different. So these feel large to me, in my opinion, and the text feels small. That's two different sizes. And you know, it just feels a little squished. We can do everybody like this and have each person, you know, click over to their individual page, or we can, you know, do these along the bottom.
Honestly, I think you're right. I don't think it's necessary. Jack, what do you think?
I think that just linking to the who we are page or whatever we called it is fine, is a fine
Me too.
Avenue for now, because the sizing and everything, and it does just get a little wonky.
It just looks silly with the with 9.
Yeah, that's a tough number.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially because I can't make 4 and 5 fit as well, you know, on page as we can
Sure.
Designing it.
Yeah, I think linking it just to the current one of all of us and just making it one image as you had it is great.
Okay, cool. So let's check to make sure that that's going to the right spot. Okay, so I relinked it to go. Is this right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Looks great.
Awesome. And then these, of course, click to the proper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, good deal. So there's that.
And then the bottom 2 notes were just